Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In the last video we set up our Linux VM, our Red Hat VM, and today I'm going to go over getting comfortable with the desktop and the layout and kind of explaining how you can customize some of the settings, how you can expand storage. So we've just booted up the VM. These are the two users that I have so far. I have the root user enabled as we saw in the last video. So for now, I'll just log in with the root user. So there we go. So it'll have a pop-up. We've logged in as a privileged user. That's because we are root. So here we go. We got the desktop. So unlike Windows, it's a very, very simple UI. It's pretty easy to get used to. So the first thing you'll want to see is you can either press activities in the top left, or you can press, in my case, it's the Windows key. On Mac, it would be the Command key. You can press that and it basically brings you to the menu. So at the bottom here by default, you can see we've got Firefox. We have our file system. Software, so you can install extensions, any sort of updates here. We've got the help tab, the terminal, and then show applications. So if we press show applications, it'll push our two desktops to the top and it'll give us access to everything that's already installed. So for now, we'll start out with customizing your terminal. You're probably going to be spending the most time on your terminal. So you're going to want to get pretty, used to it. So to start with, if you want to have multiple terminals open in the top left here, you can open a second terminal. You can open as many as you like. For the purpose of the video, we'll just have two open. And then what you can do is you can right-click on the top tab, and you can detach the terminal. So that'll push it into its own sort of window. And then what you can do to snap it to the screen and have everything fitted nicely, you can press the Windows key and the right arrow. And then if we press on the left one and you basically just have to press on it so it's highlighted, and then press your Windows key and your left arrow, you can see you can snap the terminals. So in terms of customization, to customize the look and feel of your terminal, we can right click on the terminal section at the top and under preferences. So this gives us our terminal menu. So there are preset themes. They're very basic. If you want to go a bit further into it, there are profiles that you can make. So if you click on the section that's currently, I have an unnamed profile, that should be there by default. And if you want to change your color, what you have to do is you have to click on use colors from system themes. So that'll disable the default colors. And then there are some built-in schemes. So for example, you can go through, select, kind of see what you like. And you can change, your text color, all sorts of things. Now the next thing is changing desktops. So to do that, it's pretty easy. You can just press Ctrl Alt and then the right key or the left key to flick between your two desktops. This is great for multitasking. Say, if we press the Windows key here again, or the super key, it's called in Linux, and we say we open up Firefox. The great thing about Linux is everything is will snap, so you can just drag it to the top and it'll automatically go to big screen. So if we're searching up, if we have some documentation open, whatever it is, we can just flick back to our terminal and, run whatever commands we're doing. So it's a great way to be able to multitask, especially if you're just on one monitor. I guess a couple quick basics we can go over in the terminal. So I'm assuming you have some sort of basic knowledge of Linux if you're going into Red Hat and looking at a Red Hat certification. But the most basic commands, just a couple we can go over, is ls. So that'll list all the different folders and files that, depending on which sort of section of the file partition you're in. So, so ls is basically just the most basic list command. So you can go ls, my favorite is ls minus ltr, and that'll list everything in reverse and give you extra information. So when the folder or file was created, how big it is, who owns it. So for example, root owns all of these folders. The next one would be cd. So if you want to change directory into a certain file system, so we could go cd documents. Oh, there we go, and you can just tab it. So now we're in the documents folder. So say we want to create a new file, we can use the touch command. So touch new file, and then we can use ls minus ltr, and you can see we've just created a new file. So it was created at 9:37. You can see the time at the top, so it was just created. For example, next thing, if we want to find out what user we currently are, you can see that we are root here, but if we want to verify, you can use the whoami command, and it'll show we're root. So they're just a couple basic commands. I am going to have a more in-depth video on using Linux commands and how to get comfortable navigating around, but we won't go any further for now. The next thing I wanted to go over quickly was the settings. So when you press the super key, or the Windows key in my case, you can automatically just start typing anything. So you can search whatever you like. So if we search settings, this will bring up our settings. So real quickly, we've got the network, Bluetooth. You can change your background to whatever you like. Customize it however you like. We can see all our different application settings. If we want to enable remote login, our sound settings, I just keep my volume on 0. Power modes, displays. So you'll see it's a slightly different resolution. It's not a standard resolution. That's because I have it, as you can see, it's got the menu on the left. So that's why the resolution won't be your typical, 1920 by 1080 or 2560 by 1440. So that's fine. Your mouse settings. Further down here, we can add users. So you can add users through the terminal, and you're going to want to be comfortable doing that. You can also add it through the graphical interface here. So if you want to add a new user, you can fill in their details, set them a password, that sort of thing. So you can see this was the standard network user that we created, and then the root user. And then you can adjust your date and time settings. And this is all your about info for your system. The last thing I just want to briefly go over is how you can expand the hard drive for your VM. So if you've added 10 gigabytes and you want to have more space, what you can do is you do this through the VMware Workstation application. So what we'll do is we'll start off by powering down the VM. So we'll go shut down guest. So shut down. So now that the VM's powered off, we can press on Edit Virtual Machine Settings. And then here, these are all the hardware options. So to add new hardware, we can press Add. And then here we can add a new hard disk. So we'll press Next. Use NVMe. That's just the default recommended setting. So we want to create a new virtual disk. You can make it however big you want. This doesn't have a minimum. So for example, you could just add 2 gigabytes. So I also, again, I store virtual disk as a single file. And then yeah, you can decide on the file name and then finish. And as you can see here now, we have a new 2 GB disk. So if you click on advanced here, you can see what device node it'll be under. So this was the 10 gigs that we added, the 00, and now 01, that's the new 2 gig. So to verify that that's been added, what we can do is power the machine back on. So now to verify that we can see the disk, the new disk that's been added, we'll run lsblk. And as you can see here, it's not been formatted yet, but we have 2 GB on NVMe 0 and 2. So that's how you add more space. In my next video, I'll go over how to format it so it becomes usable space. And that is another thing that we'll have to get really comfortable doing for your RHCSA.